What are you doing?
Putting this trim back in.
Jamie's putting the trim back in because we've just finished doing the integration, which is all under the driver's seat, under the passenger seat, and over in the, you can see where we've been over there, over here, all over it basically, all tied in all nicely. I'll show you. Got the this looks like a mess, but it's just because we got sort of extension leads and everything like that out at the moment. So here's, you've already seen all of what's going on in there, haven't you? And then the floor is on there, and then probably my favourite part of this build is the A-pillar trims. So that's Focal Utopias in a very, very OEM looking trim. I mean, that match is just perfect. This is all sort of Porsche sourced Alcantara. But yeah, loads going on. Catch up in a little bit when we've set it up. But yeah, 3 days this goes on. One thing I didn't just explain then is that the way that this goes together. So this was designed, as you've seen, the sub box with the baffle plate that goes on from the front because of the rake of the windscreen. This has to do the same. So instead of having it jumping over and pressing it over the top of the subs, we created this sort of D design, which enables us to slide that on straight from the front. So again, just installation and ease of removal, and the car in mind, you know. And then that sits together like so, and yeah, on it goes. Let's have a look at it going in. Yeah, so you'll have to excuse this, as this will be handheld, but that looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Just really flush fitting. See what you can see through the back. These cars, just on a side note, when they're in here and there's such heavy fab work going on, even though we have extraction in the fab room, it's still, you know, it still gets in the air. So we don't clean them off because it's yeah, it would be a disaster. So they're the front 2 fixings for that trim panel, and then there's another 6 fixings on the top, and in goes this section here. This is a difficult angle to look at that. Proper. What I'll do now is get a smaller camera and I'll try and get you in there so you can see that. It's time for the sub box to go back together finally. The amplifier rack is done up front, that's wired in. The integration has been done this week. We're just finishing that off now, and yeah, I'm just putting in Stu's bolts for the top of the sub box. I don't know if you can, I have a terrible view of this. Oh yeah, you can see, yeah, look. So see these, we've had these all, these are, well, these aren't custom made, but they're custom made in-house, and then we had a painter of ours paint them so they mimic the steering wheel and all the other sort of aluminium bits, and they just look brilliant. So yeah, I'm going to tighten all that up now. Oh, bumholes, I've left the tool outside. Back in a sec. Right, got it. So we're going to blast these in now. And what this does is this panel holds the top plate onto the box, so the front panel doesn't have to do anything. The front panel's held on behind, well, the front panel's an interruption fit, but this panel's held on from the front and from the top, and then the sub box is bolted from the from inside the box. You may think that that's slightly over engineered, having sort of 15 bolts in one box, but probably haven't met Stu. Yeah, you have, haven't you? He's there, look. You can see him. Stu! Oh yeah, there he is. My guy. So yeah, this should end up looking really sort of lovely and OEM. Oh, as if that's too long to bolt that up. Have you got a special tool, Stu? Have you ever? No, I haven't dropped it again. It's I don't think there's anywhere I can drop it now. Here he comes. There he comes. Thank you, mate. God, bloody hell, look at that. Look at the profile on that. Okay, I might have to borrow this off of him. We might be here a while. There's 6 of these to do. While you're waiting, why don't you just give us a little subscribe and a like. Speed it up. You know one of them bolts that's just like, just a little bit too tight to do it up with your fingers, but not tight enough to do up with a ratchet. That's what I'm dealing with here, Jamie. Ta-da! Here we go. Look at that. Check that out. And then if we go outside, so we'll put the front plate on in a second. If we go out here, what are you saying, Stu? Working on the Yaris Gur. And that's what we've got from the outside. Morning, guys. So that's it. This is the 3rd and final episode of the 911 Turbo S. It's nice and early in the morning. The sun's flying. I kind of got here before everyone else, so I can get a nice bit of quiet time and get a video done. So we're just going to do a walk around. You've probably already seen the majority of what's gone on throughout this episode, but it goes home in 18 minutes 20 seconds if he's on time. It's probably a Russell's truck, we're usually on time. So yeah, let's have a little walk around and I'll see if I can press play for you and get another YouTube copyright strike. Let's go. We'll go pop the boot. Gorgeous car. I'm pretty sure we've got the panels back in here now because it's actually fully ready to go. So as you've seen, or if you want to see, in episode 2, I've gone through that. That episode 2 was actually about the build of that and some of the inside. So if you want to see what's under there, have a look at that episode. But for the sake of this video, 51K Quattro Audison Voce amplifiers and a Bit 1 HD Virtuoso in there on the new version 3 software. Version 3 firmware, sorry. Now, as we come around into the car, everything in this car works from the factory head unit, so there's no auxiliary sources, anything like that. As we grow with our client, we realise how much he does or doesn't use things, and we try and hone in on those things. So everything is working from that right now. And then things you can see, what can we see? So we can see the DRC up there in the corner. So that's that silhouette right there in that corner. And then we can see the A-pillars. So that is a Focal Utopia tweeter, the new one. Focal Utopia mid-range in the door, and a Focal Utopia 8-inch mid-bass in the factory locations, but on custom baffles. And then as we go through the car into the back, it may get a little tricky because the sun's out there. You can see that fabrication there and how that lines up. What I'll probably have to do is show you a shot from a different camera on the fittings in the top of that box, because this unit's a little too big to get in above that subwoofer. But we've got, you know, the top plate and then the top plate which holds it all down, and then we've got some shapes in there as well that mimic the Porsche steering wheel. So yeah, and then the front plate, which is the very last thing that I've got to do. The front plate on the subwoofer box is a knock-on sort of interruption fit. Stu designed it like that on purpose because he was conscious of it ever coming off under sort of hard braking. This car is fast and it stops fast as well, so he didn't want anything moving. So he's got like 12 bolts holding the entire thing down, so it's never going to come out. And then the front cover that covers the bolts that hold the front of the top plate on is a knock-on, but he doesn't want to knock it on and then have to take it off again, you know, in rapid succession. So we've waited until the very end. We've proved the whole system. We know we've not got any squeaks or buzzes from it now, so we can knock that on. I might actually wait for him to get here to do that. Yeah, but that's been the Turbo S. I mean, this has been a long-winded project, and if you look at the timeline of the episodes, it's not taken that long to build. It's been in bursts. Yeah, so there we are. It's going, and it'll be picked up shortly. Now, in 11 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, let's have a quick listen and see if we can plug something in. Like I say, it's coming through YouTube, so probably not the best, but we have had people come here specifically to listen to this and make their decisions on what system they want. And yeah, it works well. Bloody sounds better than mine. All right. All the fabrication, everything, it's all in-house. So if you have a similar project, something either can be something high-end like this, it can be something small, just get in touch. It's always worth an ask, you know. but we'd love to work with you if you're into car audio. So yeah, likes and subscribes, guys. I hate saying it, to be honest, but it is what drives this train. All right, I'm Carl. This is Studio Incar, and this is the 911 Turbo S, and it's good. Sort of Stu, what the is it called when you suck dust out of the air with that machine? Extraction. Even though we have extraction,